Hello everyone and welcome to Cégep Student Orientation for Faculty of Science at McGill University, installment number 3, course registration advice. As you know, my name is Nicole Allard and I'm the Director of Advising Services for the Faculty of Science. Today I'd like to give you some general advice on course registration. I can't tell you specifically what to register for because that depends entirely on whatever program or programs you decide to complete. Then you'll talk about your specific course registration with the academic advisor of that program. You'll be able to meet those advisors on June 2nd at the CSI event. And from then on, you'll be able to talk to them about what you should or shouldn't be taking. So for now, it's going to be more general advice. Okay, I want to start with the concept of advanced standing. As Cégep students, you have all been granted 30 credits of advanced standing. That's 1 year's worth of courses. And you'll see that on your McGill transcript. What does that mean? That doesn't really mean anything. It's simply because the way our system works, a university degree is 4 years for 120 credits. And all students coming from Cégep get granted 1 year of advanced standing. So you get granted 30 credits for completing Cégep. So you only have 3 left. So really you're doing your normal 3-year degree. And so you have 3 years or 90 credits left to do. Those 30 advanced standing credits you've been granted basically include our science freshman program, which you have completed during your DEC in Cégep. So those are the 100 level science freshman courses. You're exempt from those. You may also have been exempted from some 200 level science courses because of the optional science courses you did in Cégep. Those could include organic chemistry 1 and 2, statistics, or calculus 3. So if you did those in Cégep, then you may well be exempted from them here at McGill. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow at CSI and get into more details about what that may or may not mean for you in this coming year. But for now, know that if you did complete them, you may not have to take them here at McGill if you don't want to. Now, it can take a while for these courses to show up on your transcript. They will eventually. They have to be typed in by somebody. So normally what happens is eventually you will see either Chem 212, 222, or any of these courses here listed as exemptions on your transcript. You don't get extra credits. You don't get more than 30 credits of advanced standing, but you don't have to take them here at McGill if you've successfully completed the equivalent course in Cégep. If you're not sure whether or not you've been exempt, you can talk to your academic advisor about whether the course you took in Cégep is equivalent if it's not on your transcript yet. Generally, all of these advanced standings will be recorded on your transcript by October 15th, but if it's not there by December, make sure you tell your SUSE advisor and we'll get them on your transcript. For now, just be assured that if you've completed these courses in Cégep, you don't have to take them again at McGill, provided you completed them successfully. Okay, so on to some general questions we'll get. What is a normal course load at McGill? Well, define normal, right? So a full-time course load is 12 to 15 credits per term. And that's normally 4 to 5 courses, but sometimes courses might have 4 credits because they've got labs. So we really look at credits as opposed to the number of courses. So 12 credits is the lowest you can have and still be a full-time student. 15 credits is the usual number of credits you should take in any given term. It's possible to take 16 or 17 credits, but you can't go any higher than 17. That's your maximum per term, okay? Most students aim for an average of 15 per term. Professional programs like medicine, law, dentistry prefer that you do 30 credits or a full load per academic year. That's fall and winter. It's not really the number of courses that matter as much as the credit weighting. But ideally, you are aiming for 15 credits each term if you want to go to, say, medicine, law, dentistry. Now, sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes you're going to be looking at 14 and 16. That's okay, too. So it can be 30 per year, okay? Sometimes it's going to end up being 29 per year. That's okay, too, but you don't want to go below 29, okay? If you have questions about this, just contact your academic advisor and SUSE, so they'll be able to help you with more clarity. Things to consider when you're deciding if you're not worried about medical school, because graduate schools like a PhD in chemistry or physics or whatever, they don't care how many credits you do. They don't care if you do 4 or 5 courses per term. So how do you decide? Well, you need to look at the rest of your life. If you're busy with a lot of other activities or one activity that takes up a lot of your time, you might want to consider starting with 12 credits in your first term to see how your time management works. And then you can decide later whether you want to go up to 15. Now, what could take up your time? Could be varsity sports. Maybe you need to work to pay for your studies and you're working more than 10 hours a week. You're losing a lot of time that way. So if you've got, fairly heavy work commitment, and by fairly heavy, I do mean more than 10 or 12 hours a week. If you're participating in varsity sports, that takes up a lot of your time. If you're a caregiver at home for an elderly family member or a child, that may take up a lot of your time too. So you have to think about these things and balance out your time so that you parcel out enough time to still be able to do well on your courses. And so sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 15. That depends on you as an individual. You can also go part-time. You can do fewer than 12 credits per term. That just means you're part-time that particular semester. McGill doesn't have any issue with you being part-time versus full-time, but it can have an effect on student loans. So if you're receiving Quebec student loans, you have to be full-time student. You have to have a minimum of 12 credits per semester in order to maintain those loans. Other things to think about. If you are holding a McGill scholarship, you have to have a minimum of 27 credits per academic year. Now the academic year is fall and winter. And so that could be 12 one term, 15 the other, or 15, 12, or you could do 15 and 15, but you have to have at least 27 per academic year, fall and winter combined, if you're holding a McGill scholarship. Those are the two main things to think about. Loans, at least 12 per term. Scholarship, 12 one term, 15 the other, or 15 both terms. Other than that, think about your personal life and how much time you have to dedicate to your studies. And try and be realistic. And if in doubt, again, talk to an advisor. I want to take some time to talk a bit about course types, because we throw these words around a lot at McGill, and some of these words we use a little differently than you did in Cégep. So first off, we have what we call required courses. Those are courses you absolutely have to take for a program. So for example, if you're majoring in biology, you absolutely must take Biology 200. No choice. That's called a required course. Complementary courses. Those are courses that are part of a program. So it's part of a major or an honors or a liberal, but you have some choice. You choose a course from a list. It could be a fairly short list, like there's 3 different versions of a stats course, and you have to take one of them. That's complementary. Or it might be a long list where you have to complete 3 out of these 10 courses, and you can choose any 3 to complete your major. Those are considered complementary because they're part of a major, and there's a choice, but it's a choice from a fairly short list. Okay? Finally, we talk about elective courses. Those are courses that are not part of a program. They're not part of a major or an honors, a liberal, or a minor. But you take them in order to build up to your 90 credits that you need to complete your degree. And they can be whatever interests you within certain limits. And I'm going to get to those limits soon. So those are things you take for personal interest. They're not part of your major, your honors, and you're taking them to bring your total credits up to the 90 that you have to do at McGill to get your degree. Okay? In Cégep, what we call complementary, I think you would have called, I think what we call elective was called a complementary in Cégep. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is what they mean here. Okay, we also have a grading option, which is the satisfactory, unsatisfactory grading option. You can choose that on Minerva, and you'll see when you go to register for your courses, there's a spot on the Minerva registration form that allows you to choose the SU grading option. What that means, S stands for satisfactory, U stands for unsatisfactory. And essentially what it means is instead of getting a letter grade like A, B, or C, you're going to get an S, which means you passed the course, or the U, which means you didn't pass the course. How it works is you're the one who chooses whether you want that option or not. Okay, it's not the professor who decides for the course. All of our courses are normally graded with letter grades. If you want to have SU grading, you choose it. The professor doesn't know you chose it. So the professor will submit your grade as usual at the end of the term. Once submitted, before it shows up on your transcript, if it's a grade from A to C, it will be converted to S for satisfactory, and that's what shows up on your transcript. If it's a grade of D or F, it will be converted to U for unsatisfactory, and that's what shows up on your transcript, either S or U. Why would you do this? The difference between an SU grade and a letter grade is that the letter grade contributes towards what's called your grade point average, or your GPA. Sort of the McGill equivalent of the concept of your R score, your cut in Cégep, okay? So a letter grade contributes to your GPA. The SU option does not contribute to the calculation of your GPA. So if you got an S, you pass the course, you get the credits, you keep going. But it doesn't change your grade point average. If you get a U, it's the same thing, except you don't get the credits because you're deemed to have failed the course, but it won't bring down your grade point average because it's not calculated in it. So it's kind of a way to get credit for a course without it basically going into your grade point average. Now, you can only do this for elective courses. That's the first thing for you to know. You cannot choose the SU option for any course that is going towards a major, honors, minor, or liberal program. If you're using a course for a program, you cannot choose the SU option. You can only use it for elective courses. It's there for you to try something new that you've always wanted to learn as an elective, but you're not confident or you're not sure how you're going to do. Then you can do SU, but it has to be an elective. The other rule is you can only do it for up to not 10% of your credits at McGill. So that means for you guys, that's 9 credits that you can choose SU. Electives only across your entire degree, okay? So you have to keep those two things in mind. Definitely the electives only part. Now, you choose SU on Minerva. You can only choose it during the course change period. That's the first 2 weeks of class. After that, if you, whatever grade method you've chosen, whether it's the normal grading or the SU grading, is permanent. You can't change it after the course change period. So that's the first 2 weeks of class. And we never allow changes after the fact. So you have to be sure what you're doing, okay? Now, if you're not sure whether or not you can take a course SU, again, you can just ask an advisor, they'll let you know, okay? But just remember, electives only. Courses outside the faculties of arts and of science. Now, again, we're talking about electives here. You are allowed normally to take up to 18 credits or 6 one-semester courses of electives in faculties that are not arts or science. Now at McGill, science are all the science programs. You know what they are. Arts includes things like social sciences, humanities, languages, that kind of thing, okay? Those you can take as many as you want. Doesn't matter. For electives, take as many as you want. But if you want to take electives in other faculties, and that would be things like education, management, engineering, there's only certain courses that you can take in those faculties that McGill will give you credit for. What we do is we maintain a list on our website of courses you can take in other faculties for credit. They're a yes. There's some courses in other faculties that you definitely cannot take. They're a no. And then there's some courses that aren't on either list. If it's not on either list and you want to take a course, say in management, you write to your advisor, say, can I take this course? And we'll let you know. And then we'll put it either as a yes or a no on the list. Those lists get built as students ask to take courses. So the important thing is if you're looking at a course that's under the faculties of engineering, management, agriculture and environmental sciences, law, education, anything that is neither faculty of arts or faculty of science, you should check on the SUSE website whether or not you can take it for credit. And you can find that link either in our handbook that we've given you a link to here on this slide, or just go to the SUSE website and look it up, okay? Again, if you're not sure, just contact your advisor. These are electives only. If it's part of your major, that's fine, you can take it. But if it's as an elective, there's some limits. So check with an advisor if you're not sure. General registration advice. I would say, first of all, now you register for both terms, fall and winter. It's good to do it all at once. You could keep changing your winter courses up until January. So don't worry about whether things change, whether your schedule changes, anything like that. But do your best to register for fall and winter now, okay? You can keep changing your current courses for the fall up until the second week of September as well. So you've got time to change your mind, move around, think about things, but register as soon as you can for what you think you want, okay? When you're looking at how do you build a schedule, start with your required and complementary courses for your programs. Do your required courses first, because you don't have any choice, you have to take those. Then try and schedule in your complementary courses, because you know there's some choice there. So if one's full, you can always try a different one. And then schedule in your electives last around the required and the complementary courses so that your schedule will work. Sometimes when you're trying to register for courses, you may get messages like reserve section closed. That could mean that although there's room in the course, right now they're saving those spots for people who are majoring in that area, for people who need that as a required course. If that happens to be you, so if you're majoring in biology and you can't get into Bio 200, then you email the biology advisor and say, look, I'm a bio major, I need this course, and we'll figure it out. If it's not you and you're a physics major, but you just want to take it as an elective, well, you're going to have to wait until all of the majors have registered, and then we'll open it up if there's any space left for people who want to take it as an elective. So there you have to wait. And I would recommend looking around and finding something else to take for now until space opens up in the other course, if space opens up. Finally, if it's a complementary course for your program, so it's one of those things where you have to take one of these three. Well, you can keep trying for a while to get into the one you want, but in the meantime, I would register for my second choice. Another course from that list of complementary courses that would still satisfy your program. Remember, you have a course change period where you can keep changing your courses between now and the middle of September. So you have time to try and change things around, but do your best to go with whatever your plan B is right now and keep trying for what your plan A is during the summer. Okay? Now, sometimes a course is really full. Then you just get course closed, or you just can't register because it's actually full. Again, you can wait because people do add and drop courses. They move around, so you can keep trying to see if you can get in, if it's a complementary or an elective course. As I said, if it's required for your program, then you contact your program advisor. And again, if I'm not sure about any of this, it's always the same thing, ask an advisor. Okay. This is what your unofficial transcript looks like on Minerva. So you can log into Minerva and see an unofficial transcript and see a list of the courses in which you're registered, okay? This is just a sample. You'll also see when we assign them, which will be happening sometime in the next couple of weeks, you will be assigned a SUSE advisor whose name will appear right here, okay? So you'll be able to see who your advisor is. Now, they'll be emailing you and introducing themselves, but if you're not sure, you can always look on there. And you'll be able to see what courses you have been registered in, okay? So that's your transcript. You can do it by going into Minerva and the student records link, find your unofficial transcript. Now, you won't be able to see it until you've registered for at least one course, but once you do, you'll be able to see this on Minerva. Okay, some other general academic advice, not specific to courses. In general, students are sometimes surprised by how challenging their midterm exams seem to be. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Most of you, as a matter of fact. That's just because it's different, right? It's different from Cégep. It has a different feel. There's a lot more autonomous, independent work required in university and less sort of teaching time, more learning on your own time. So in general terms, the best advice we can give you is try and keep up with the coursework as much as possible. You've got to do a lot of studying and reading and practice problems and assignments on your own time. So try and keep up. In general, when you know a midterm's coming up, start studying early. Refresh your memory. Don't try and cram. Cramming might work, but it's not the best way to do it. Cramming in general is not a very efficient way of getting information into your brain. So you're better off to start early and review the material. You may also find that you have, 2 or 3 midterms sometimes in 1 week. 3 isn't that common, but you might have 2 in a week. So you want to get started so that you're studying for both simultaneously. Definitely, if you're having any difficulty in a course, go and see your professor or your teaching assistant and ask questions. Take advantage of office hours. Don't be shy. This is new for everybody, and they're there to help you succeed. But they can't know that you need something explained to you if you don't ask. And if you ask, everybody's happy to explain it. That's why we're here. We've all had to learn it, and you can only learn by asking questions. So please don't be shy. One thing we often hear partway through the term, partway through the year, is that everybody else seems to be doing fine except me. Everybody's doing fine except me. I'm feeling stressed. Well, first of all, we hear it really often. So clearly, it's not just you. It can be stressful at first getting used to this. And give yourself some time. Accept that this might be stressful, but you'll get there. You just have to get used to something new. You're not the only one. Everybody else is saying the same thing. So they think you're doing fine. Go talk to an advisor. Just say, look, I'm finding this a bit difficult. What's going on? We'll help you figure it out, and we'll help you devise some solutions. But that's the important thing, is you got to tell someone. We'll help you figure it out. We also have various workshops for time management, stress management. We have various professionals if you're dealing with stress, or if you're just needing tutoring or group or individual counseling. There's a lot of stuff available to you to help you to succeed. And that's our goal. We want you to succeed. But you have to let us know that you need help so that we can point you in the right direction. I can absolutely guarantee you that we did not make a mistake when we accepted you. You are well equipped to succeed here at McGill. We know that, and we're just here to help you get your feet solidly on the right path. So just let us know, okay? One thing I want you to remember are some important deadlines for the fall 2020 term. Course registration begins Monday, June 8th. That's when you can start registering for your classes. Course registration continues all the way through until September 15th. So you can drop and add courses all you want until then, okay? Classes start Wednesday, September 2nd. More on how that's going to work on June 2nd at the CSI event, but they officially start September 2nd. Our course change period, as I mentioned, starts when you start registering and ends September 15th. So you can keep adding and dropping all you want until September 15th, okay? It's also the deadline by which you can select the SU option on some elective courses if you want. We have a deadline called the withdrawal with refund deadline, which is a week later. That's September 22nd. That allows you to withdraw from a course and get a refund for the tuition. But it doesn't remove the course from your transcript. It's not like dropping it. So instead of, the course won't disappear on your transcript. It remains on your transcript, but instead of a grade, there'll be a W, which just shows that you withdrew. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean you failed or anything. There's a lot of reasons to withdraw from a course. It's just that it won't disappear from your transcript, okay? And you won't be able to add another course to replace it at this point because we're too far into the semester and you wouldn't be able to catch up. So September 22nd, you can still withdraw from a course and get your money back for the course, but it will remain on your transcript with a grade of W. The final deadline is October 27th. That's halfway through the term. That's your deadline to withdraw from a course with no refund. So up until September 27th, if you decide that you're not liking the course or you're not doing well in the course and you really need to get out of it, you can withdraw on Minerva. And all that'll happen is instead of a grade, there will be a W, which means you withdrew. But at this point, if you do it after September 22nd, up until October 27th, you can do it, but you won't get a refund because you've been in the class too long. I know that many people think, well, why would I withdraw then? It seems like a waste of money, and I suppose, but if you're really doing badly in the course, either because you hate it or perhaps something happened, you ended up getting mono and you're just not healthy enough to do your full course load, you need to get out of something. These are all things that might happen. A W is still better than getting an F on your transcript. An F on your transcript does mean fail, and it brings down your grade point average. A W just says you withdrew. It does not affect your grade point average. It doesn't mean anything except you withdrew. So it has no effect on your GPA, and therefore it's something to consider. And an advisor can help you to make that decision if you're not sure, okay? Finally, I just want to remind you about our website. Just look under newly admitted students. You'll find our handbook that can give you all of this information in greater detail, as well as a lot of relevant links. And that's also our science orientation booklet is available on there. This is what it looks like. Feel free to download a copy, and I urge you to read it. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me in installment number 3. We have 2 more installments to go. And I look forward to seeing you all on June 2nd.